Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rainmakers Roundup. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and today I've got Christine Blithe with me. Christine is, what's your title at ARS Fleet Service?
Senior Account Manager.
Senior Account Manager. Right. So you're outside sales, right? You're knocking on doors, you're beating the street, you're out there constantly, right?
That's right.
What attracted you to ARS? Tell me a little bit about what it is, Christine.
So I have a background in the fuel industry. I sold diesel fuel for Quarles Petroleum out of Virginia for 11 years. So I had known Patrick, the owner of ARS, for several years prior to my coming on board with him.
Cool.
And it just was a really good fit because I had all those relationships in place.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got out of the fuel business is because I had my daughter and I was traveling in 4 states and things like that. So the timing was great and it was a great move. So, it's been 15 years that I've been in the fleet industry. So those relationships that I gained selling fuel really helped me, to continue.
You started when you were like 13?
Oh, you're so sweet. No, I started out of college.
So fuel, bulk fuel, I guess you sold bulk fuel to
They
large...
were commercial fueling facilities up and down the East Coast. So they were actually fuel stations built for tractor trailers and large trucks and things like that.
Interesting, okay.
It was a fuel card, actually.
Interesting,
Card.
wow.
Fleet card.
So then you got into the fleet management business or fleet maintenance business, really, right? Is
That's
what
correct.
ARS does. So tell us a little bit about the business.
So ARS is the largest maintenance and collision fleet facility in the area. We have mobile trucks that deliver quality, service, convenience, and trust right to your parking lot. The mobile trucks actually come on site and do
all the maintenance
repair work right on your property, which you don't even realize how much downtime that saves, employee time running to shops and things like that. So our goal is to eliminate downtime and really bring the service right to you, and obviously that saves.
So fleets, from how large would a fleet be? I mean,
500 to 500 vehicles.
Really?
So we have large Comcast and Amazon and customers like that, down to a roofer with 5 trucks.
Oh my gosh!
So huge, vast array of fleet clients that we service.
And the how extensive are the repairs on site? You're doing everything?
We are doing almost everything the shop can do, minus huge transmission engine jobs or things that might delay. We have to order parts and that might take a while. But other than that, electrical issues, tires, brakes, anything, anything we can do right there, right on the job site, right in your parking lot.
Wow, so that's great. So now, who are you calling on? What sort of organizations are you calling on? You said 500 to 500 vehicles. And more, I'm sure, if they're larger.
Distribution, transportation, HVAC, electrical, contractors, concrete. I mean, really, and we also work on off-road equipment. So it's vehicles and equipment. So a lot of companies have, large pieces of equipment on jobs. They can't transport them very easily and things like that. So we really, bring a lot of value.
So your database has got to be gigantic. I mean, it's got to be huge because there's a million HVAC companies, plumbing companies out there that have, smaller fleets, and then you look at some of the larger companies that, like you mentioned, Comcast and Amazon. There must be. How big's your territory?
You wouldn't even believe how many fleets are out there.
Oh, yeah.
We do a 60-mile radius around Newcastle, Delaware, where we're based out of.
Okay.
So, pretty much the whole Philadelphia region, South Jersey, a little bit into Maryland, a good portion of Delaware, good portion of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so Newcastle. I mean, you're not up in Mercer County, but you're probably down in Burlington, and
exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So you got to have some sort of passion for doing what you do. This is pretty cool. I mean, first of all, I mean, you're in probably is it a male-dominated business mostly?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how's that been? I mean, in terms of you working in my wife does the same thing. I mean, she works in HVAC.
Nice.
Right. So she's been in HVAC for 23 years or something, and it's on the service side. Right, so she's out there knocking on doors for service contracts. But it's a male-dominated business, and
Definitely.
you got to, deal with that. How's that been for you?
I find people in this industry are very easy to talk to. They're down to earth, and it's just really a matter of connecting with the right people.
Yeah,
And that's the goal for every salesperson, I think.
Exactly.
But I find passion, within. I mean, it's in my blood. It's in my DNA. It's in my bones. Both of my grandfathers were amazing salespeople. My dad, my brother, my father-in-law, all master salesmen.
Wow.
So it's been around me. It's a very natural thing for me. I love connecting with people. I love connecting people. I love meeting people. Sales is something that is, it's always been there. I've sold candy bars when I was 6 years old, door to door. It's always just something that's just been very natural for me.
That's cool. That's cool.
Absolutely.
When you think of, I know you've got the greatest salesman in the world from Og Mandino. That book it's a classic, right?
It's the best.
It is. But a lot of times people don't realize that this profession that you're in, I'm in, sales, marketing, takes as much work as it does to be a super IT person or a technologist or, in the case of maybe your business, a mechanic, right? Mm-hmm. What do you say to people that they wonder, oh, you're just a salesperson, you're out there knocking on doors, pushing your product or your service or whatever? Yeah.
I once had a previous employer say to me that sales is the easiest and hardest job in the world.
It is. Yeah.
And it is. It's absolutely the truth. I mean, you have to be persistent, and that's what I love about Og Mandino. I mean, he really, in the scrolls, he talks about being persistent, actions, emotions, bathing in good habits so the bad ones drown. It's an everyday, you can't get knocked down. You can't let negativity weigh you down. You just have to law of averages, and you have to move on. If this person isn't a good fit, next, it just has to be this thing where you have to be persistent and you have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get out there and not let the beat downs, drag you down.
Yeah,
right.
Drag you down.
Right.
When you said that your granddads, both grandfathers were salespeople in sales, your father-in-law, the people in your family, it reminded me a little bit of that really funny scene in My Cousin Vinny when Marissa Tomei was up on the stand and she said, my uncle was a mechanic, my father was a mechanic, my uncle's brother was a mechanic, everybody. But it's something you really learn, right? You learn that profession.
Right.
And one of the questions that I'd like to ask but I know the answer to already is, what prepared you to do what you're doing? What's that career path been like for you? I mean, when you went to college, did you think that's what you were going to do when you came out of school?
I kind of thought I wanted to do advertising, marketing. I have a creative side to me, so I was always interested in that kind of thing. But I always knew I wanted to work, with people. I'm a very social person by nature, so I didn't realize in college that sales was absolutely my path. I just didn't know enough about it, but it became clear very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
How did you get into when you graduated from school? How did you get into the petroleum business? What was that like?
Headhunter.
Oh, you really?
A headhunter got me the job, and before that I worked for ATX Communications out of King of Prussia, which was a fantastic organization, fantastic people there. But it was a headhunter, and it was just such a unique thing.
Yeah.
And the transportation is so necessary for business. It's something that's very overlooked.
Yeah.
But without delivering of goods, delivering of employees to job sites. I mean, being able to rely on vehicles is really something that's super important.
It's critical. How have you adjusted during the pandemic? I mean, in terms of, look, there haven't been a lot of face-to-face meetings.
Right.
Let's face it, and. I'm sure transportation's been down a little bit, but
absolutely.
Right, but going out and dealing with these fleets, has that changed much?
I think every salesperson and a lot of people can agree that the pandemic has woken you up to, more Zoom meetings, less windshield time, how easily you can connect with someone very quickly virtually. I mean, that's amazing. But for me, the pandemic has really just been an opportunity to fill up my gratitude cup a little bit more, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And, really just to live in the moment every day and appreciate every day. And that's Ogmandino, just to live each day as if it's my last.
Yeah.
And, to treat people with love and to be kind. To be a kind person.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I mean, this virus has been a crazy thing, and it's just,
it has.
Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to happen moving forward. I mean, it's just so unknown. So, I think it really is important to kind of dig deep and appreciate the right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There was there's a freshman congressman who came in he was just elected in Louisiana, 41 years old. He got COVID 2 or 3 days ago, and he passed away last night.
God, that's awful.
So you think about that. You think about how grateful and blessed we are to have the life that we have, right? And that's the thing I really enjoy about people like you, Christine. Like you're genuine. People are attracted to you because you care about them, right? It's not about the sale. I mean,
right.
I don't know if Ogmandino talks about this, but you build those relationships, that rapport with people.
Right.
The money shows up.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about the money.
Right.
The money will come.
Absolutely.
Right?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I mean, what have you done in terms of getting out there? And you've got to have that fine line.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go too far here, and I have to respect people.
I definitely agree. I've actually been on the road since May 4th, which is very rare in what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So my approach has been, from an outside perspective. Like I try to catch people in parking lots, socially distanced, masks, things like that.
Sure.
But maybe I'll peek in a warehouse, like very outside kind of. So I've done that, but. I think it's really been a time to reconnect with a lot of people and to find ways to help others, because the most successful people that I've seen, especially recently, I mean, I'm in a huge network of people that, the go-givers, the ones that
absolutely.
give.
Yeah.
The ones that, and if you have the mentality that you're going to help other people and you're going to connect other people and you're going to make introductions, then you're going to be successful. The money's going to come, the sales are going to come. I mean, that's not, like you said, people buy from people they like. It's the relationship.
Yeah.
So you really want to, try to connect with as many people as you can and look for ways to help them. And, I can't believe very recently some amazing people have come into my life through the pandemic, through networking with this mentality. How do I help you?
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think, even the gentleman, Jeff Platt, that introduced us,
right.
You meet Jeff and Jeff's got this uplifting personality, and he said, you're going to love Christine. She's like us,
right.
She's a go-giver, somebody that cares about others first. And I talk to my wife about that all the time. How much do you give? You give. And sometimes you don't get in return, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We're going to have to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
We'll come back with more from Christine Blithe after a message from our sponsors. Don't go away.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
Welcome back to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio, and this is Christine Blithe. Christine is Senior Account Manager at ARS Fleet Service, Newcastle, Delaware, but pretty big territory, like 60 square mile or 60 mile radius. Yeah.
Correct.
How many account managers are there at
One.
One, and it's you.
Yes.
You're out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you find new clients? What's I mean, we just talked about this
Sure.
before the break, Christine.
Absolutely.
But
You know, there's so many ways. I really believe that you kind of have to hit several different angles. I mean, you have to canvas, you have to cold call, you have to pick up the telephone, you have to email, you have to use digital marketing, LinkedIn. You know, we have a very powerful marketing director at ARS, Tara Mogan from iMarketeur, and she uses a lot of the SEO, the Google search, you know, the internet and things like that. But again, I mean, I think the best way to attract new clients is to develop relationships with people, to help each other, to, you know, get in the networking groups and find ways to connect. You just really, it's kind of like diving at how the seal dives at the shell, and, you know, it gets it all different angles until it opens up to get the
until it
pearl.
opens
So
up and you get more opportunities.
you're not going to succeed doing one thing. You have to do them all. And the networking too. I mean, in the in-person networking, it's all of it.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, you and I have been in, you know, we're kind of in the same circle of people, network,
Right.
you know, the network of
Absolutely.
people that we, as Bob Berg from the Go Giver, he's been on,
Oh, wow.
he's been on shows
That's
here.
cool.
Yeah. And there are people like us, like you and I, who really believe in that concept, truly believe in that
Truly.
concept. There are people that talk about being givers, but they're, you know, they're more, well, I don't want to sound negative, but they're just not, there's no reciprocity there. Our group, the friends that we have, the network that we are in, they care about other people.
That's
They
right.
want to sincerely help other people.
That's right.
And that's what you want to be around. You want to be around people like that, because the first thing I thought of is when you said 5 to 500, you know, vehicles in a fleet.
Right.
My mind immediately went to, I've got friends that have like HVAC companies, you know, that could use your
That's
service.
amazing.
Now,
I appreciate that.
you're welcome. I mean, they're up in Mercer County,
Right.
but you know, maybe that works for you. But I just look at this whole pandemic, Christine, and what it's meant to us to sit back and say, look, I'm grateful for the things that I have. And there's certain things that are not as important as I thought they were. Going forward, how has this pandemic sort of affected your future and the way you look at 2021? What are you going to do differently?
I think the biggest thing would be to cut down on the in-person coffee meetings and things like that. You know, you really look back and you realize how much windshield time. I mean, you know, you meet somebody for coffee at 10 a.m. that might be 45 minutes away, and all of a sudden that's half the day.
Yeah.
Where you accomplish the exact same thing over, you know, one of the digital platforms and 30 minutes, and then, you know, look at all that time. So really, you know, reorganizing time management.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and figuring out better ways to make the most use of your time. I
Yeah,
would say
of course.
has been really eye-opening.
Hasn't it?
It really has.
It has. I mean, I say that all the time. I mean, the other thing about Zoom, and you know, there's other platforms,
Right, of
Teams,
course.
and all that
Yeah,
stuff. right?
sure.
But the one thing about these digital platforms is that you kind of get into business pretty quickly
Right.
when you're on the call,
Right.
because you've got a 30-minute window or
Right.
whatever it is. And you know, how are the kids? Great. Move to the next thing.
Right.
How's your son? You know?
Right.
Is he doing better?
He's good.
Good.
Thank you.
You're in person and you're like, there's probably 15 or 20 minutes of downtime or talk time before you even get into the business.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Wonderful. I think you're right. And I think you accomplish more,
There's no question about that.
right?
There's no
Yeah,
question about that.
yeah.
You're focused. You're not driving all over the place.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's go back to when you started, right? Sitting here, you're talking to a Christine Collins, before the Blythe, before the marriage.
Right.
What advice would you give to a 22 or 23-year-old version of you as you're coming into the business?
Be decisive, be courageous, don't sweat the small stuff. Really invest in your health. Bathe in good habits. Really try to, be a leader. Make good decisions. Really just enjoy life. Be a positive, happy person. Don't let small things weigh you down. There's just no time for that, because again, nothing is promised, and it really is. Life is short when you look back, and you really want to invest in yourself every day.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's
Thank
pretty
you.
profound. I
Appreciate
love that.
Appreciate that.
Man, if you can live that and
Easier said than
capture
done,
that,
right?
it is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
But that's the positivity that we're looking for in our fellow humans, right? Our fellow people out there that we want to deal with on a regular basis.
Right.
It sounds so simple, but it really is. I mean, even keeping ourselves healthy mentally and physically and spiritually and all of that. I mean, it's critical. Thanks. So where do you find inspiration? Where does that come from?
They're everywhere, really. There's so many places. My incredible mother has always been my biggest source of inspiration.
Yeah.
She is an English and public speaking teacher.
Wow.
So she has influenced so many students, and countless, people have come back, and I'm just so fortunate that she has taught me the power of communication.
Yeah.
As of the last 5 years, my 3 and 5-year-old are huge inspirational
I'll bet.
motivators for me.
Yeah.
They're sweet little.
So
angelic
5-year-old
faces.
daughters,
And
3-year-old son. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Yes. And of course, my fearless boss and leader, Patrick Connell, an incredible source of inspiration. He has that servant leadership style.
Sure.
Very invested in the community, very passionate about, making sure every employee is set and happy, and their family's good and things like that. He's very passionate about causes that are important to him, veterans, cancer research, things of that nature. Patrick does a barbecue every Wednesday for the entire staff, as well as customers, as well as maybe some random homeless people that walked
Wow.
in. I mean, it is so impressive, and he's been doing that for years. Every Wednesday, he's actually brought the barbecue to other customers' parking lots and things like that. He's very big into feeding the homeless.
Wow.
He's partnered with James Parker out of Newcastle that brings trucks in and picks up food from the grocery store and gives it to the homeless. So just a lot of passion for serving others. Very inspirational.
Wow.
So I can't say enough about him. And of course, nature, motivational speakers like Gary Vee is top.
Sure.
Favorite. Og Mandino,
Yeah.
this book has been so inspirational. And really, the greatest source of inspiration is within.
Yeah.
I look within, I look to God, I look, all around me, above, below, the angels, everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I really believe that there's just a universe around us helping us. And, if you go within, and if you find ways to center yourself and use yoga and meditation, things like that, that it just makes you a more peaceful person. It makes you better at what you do, whatever that is. So I really believe that everything that you need in life is within.
Oh, that's awesome. Christine, it's been amazing.
Mark, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here.
Oh my God,
It
it's
was
such a pleasure.
Tremendous opportunity.
Oh, you've been amazing.
Thank
This has
you.
been great. I have to just publicly thank Jeff Platt for introducing us.
Jeff's the best.
He's the best.
He
He
is.
really
He's
is.
awesome.
And you're right. She is amazing. Thank
Jeff.
you.
Oh,
Why
Mark
don't
is
you
the
tell
best.
everyone how to get in touch with you and ARS Fleet Service?
So anyone that has vehicles and would like some more information about our mobile maintenance, our in-shop maintenance, our collision repair facility, you can reach me at 302-293-0296, Christine at arsfleetservice.com. And
Awesome.
thanks again for your time, Mark. It's been a true honor. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for Rainmakers Roundup. Have a safe and wonderful week, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.